Hello guys, Shoker the Fool here, back at it again with the 104th episode of the Braxcast, and there is a lot to talk about because we've got free pre-orders released. These are all written by the Soska Sisters, so I'm going to get right into this. We've got first coming up is Bloodruth number 3. This is going to conclude the arc for Bloodruth, the first Bloodruth arc, which is going to be issues 1 through 3. Number 2 is on the way, but number 3 is available for pre-order, which will be releasing on the 14th of October, with the cutoff being the 4th of September. And we've got a black and white edition with no cover reveal yet, but we've got cover A by BTG, cover B by Brow, cover C by Anton Tarlov, and cover D is by Deborah Carita, and cover D is by far like the standout cover for this book, and it is going to be the mass print cover, and it's probably one of the best pieces of art for the Rippaverse. It's just a really good composition. I just absolutely love it, and Deborah Carita is such a fantastic artist, and she brings all that skill that she brings to this cover that she brought in the interior pages of Yaira. But there isn't really that much to say about the third issue of Bloodruth. We don't have the second issue yet, but it's just really exciting to know that we'll get that second issue pretty soon in the coming weeks, and then number 3 will be just a couple months down the line. It's going to be a 56-pager. All these books are 56 pages. That's basically the settled length for all the pre-order books, and I think that's a fantastic length to be. And of course, it's by written by the Soskas with the art by Michael Montanet. That has been the case for all of the books. We've got the Detention Crew. So Detention Crew Part 2 is going to conclude the series. So you got 2 covers, with the A cover by Matteo Lucetti, cover B by Brandon Ward. And like I said, Lucetti is the artist. He's the artist as for the first part, with Michael Woods being the cover. Colorist, I ought to say. We've got this cutoff, so being the 8th of April, with it releasing on the 6th of May. And this is basically just the conclusion to what gets set up in the first part of the Detention Crew. Detention Crew released last year. Is probably the least popular Rippaverse book because it's got that Archie Kitty comic style, which a lot of people really do not vibe with. That was the impression I got from the fans when, live streaming and talking about this, that this was not everybody's cup of tea, especially since a lot of Rippaverse folks are older. I'm going to be 28 in a couple of weeks, so this is definitely a little bit out of my age range, but I still think it's going to be an interesting story with a former villain getting a ragtag team of teenagers to be heroes. I think that's a really cool story, and I'm really excited to see how that one goes. But last but not least is we've got the Hellbound Stagecoach. So the Hellbound Stagecoach is going to be probably the most interesting story for this of these 3, because it's a unique story, and this is going to feature the Wild Dog. So this is going to be a gang in the Old West in the past, and they're going to get a job to escort Charity Bloodruth. So this is going to feature one of Bloodruth's ancestors, and the leader is Jebediah Jackal Jones, and I believe Jebediah is the name of Bloodruth's father. So my working theory, if I'm getting this correctly, is that Jebediah and Charity, through this scene, they actually become a couple, and that's how the Bloodruth lineage propagates. But that's just a theory of mine. We'll see if that is correct. But we've got the A cover by Kanan White, with Marcos Martins being the colorist. That's true for cover B, which is by Cliff Richards, the artist of Isom, and that's the really cool, wanted poster cover. And then cover C is by Eda Souza, with Prasad Rayo being the cover artist. And that's the one right there. But really, Hellbound Stagecoach, like I said, is going to be the most interesting one of these. Not that the other 2 aren't uninteresting, it's just that this is going to be a unique story, and this is going to explore more of that Bloodruth lore. And since it's coming out on the 15th of July, with the cutoff being the 12th of June. It's going to come out just a couple months before the third issue of Bloodruth #3. So we'll get that cool lore, and then we'll go right into Bloodruth #3. So really, really interesting stuff so far with these books released. This is definitely like a good, like, I would say, more foundational to the lore of the Bloodruth family. Of course, if you've read Bloodruth #1, you know that it goes back to ancient biblical times. It goes basically to the beginning of man, the line of Bloodruth. So this is not, is by far not like the absolute origin. We basically got like teasers of that in Bloodruth #1. I do want to see that explored, but seeing stuff in the Wild West, how like people in the Wild West, do they call them accepts? Is that something that came about only in like the 20th century? So we'll probably get a little bit more insight into stuff like that with how superpowers and people being accepts works in the Wild West. And it's also just going to be really interesting to see more about the Bloodruth family line. So who is Charity Bloodruth? Why is she so important that she's getting her own story? That's stuff we're going to have to wait and see to find out. And maybe we'll see Charity Bloodruth get mentioned in the third issue of Bloodruth, or maybe even the second issue of Bloodruth, since we have not read that yet. But I am a bit skeptical of that. Anyways, there's also want to mention that this Hellbound Stagecoach is done by the Ripafest winner of the fan art contest. Very exciting that he got featured. I'll put his name up since it's escaping my mind right now, but really, really cool to see that like already that gig was delivered to him, and he's actually putting out that work, and I'm sure it's going to be fantastic work. But that is really all the commentary I have for you guys today. Hopefully you guys like this episode. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. But that's all I have for you guys for now. Joker is out.
Thank you for tuning in to the Braxcast. Be sure to like, comment, follow, and subscribe to keep up with the Ripiverse.